Russ,
What up, Justin?
why does Mario have a carrot on the cover of Nintendo Power #1?
It's actually a good point, Justin. I feel like the only way to explain this is to kind of go back to the beginning. There's like a lot of history you need to know and a lot of like detail about Super Mario Brothers 2. And
No, never mind. Nope. Just forget I asked.
All right, so the original Super Mario Brothers 2. People have this image of crazy Super Mario Brothers 2 with the weird mirror world and dreams and floating and vegetables. No,
Vegetables.
the original Super Mario Brothers 2 was just kind of like Super Mario Brothers, very similar to the original Super Mario Brothers, similar graphics. It was also a lot harder, and it came out in Japan in 1986. So the difficulty and the graphics kind of discouraged Nintendo of America. They were kind of like, we don't know if Americans are kind of up for this.
Americans are lazy, Russ. You can just say it. Just say Americans are lazy.
I was trying to like be political about it, but yeah,
No,
Americans
are lazy. And Nintendo of America didn't want to release a hard game because our baby hands don't know how to work all the buttons and stuff good enough. I get it.
So they basically told Japan, nope, not going to do it. Go back to the drawing board. So Nintendo of America actually might have had a point on that because the Super Mario Bros. 2 that released in Japan did not do super well. It certainly wasn't the gangbuster success that the original Super Mario Bros. Was. So they started working on a prototype that would be much more broadly appealing and maybe do better.
Papa Miyamoto was like, "Give me some sales. I need the big sales. Give me the Mario magic. Find the guy who made the original Mario." And I pretended that I took credit for me, Big Daddy Miyamoto.
Do you think he's evil?
I've known he's evil for a long time, Russ.
Because he has such like a joyous, he's like Willy Wonka in that way, but then Willy Wonka has that dark side.
What's he hiding?
What's he buried in that garden?
Little Pikmin skeletons. So one of the developers working on this, Kensuke Tanabe, he had a prototype that he thought kind of harkened back to the very original Mario Brothers. It was a vertically scrolling game instead of horizontally, and players would pick each other up and throw each other, and they would pick up blocks and stack them to try to travel vertically. Miyamoto checked it out and thought it wasn't quite there. He wanted something a little more Mario-like, so they introduced into this prototype more side-scrolling segments. Instead of blocks, which were kind of sterile, they introduced vegetables, something to make it feel more whimsical, a little more Mushroom Kingdom.
Okay, yeah, that's starting to sound a bit more like the Super Mario Brothers 2 I know.
Right. So this is where things get weird. Okay, nothing happened with that prototype because some Fuji Television executives went to Carnival. This is true. They went over there and had such a good time that they decided...
I mean... It's Carnival, right? You can't not have a good time.
Yeah, you can't not have a good time. Are you kidding me? They go to Carnival. They have such a blast. They say, you know what? Let's just do this in Japan. Let's treat ourselves. So they convince Fuji Television to sponsor a festival that would be referred to as Yume Koju. Hilariously, they called it Yume Koju 87 because, yeah, go for it, guys. It's the first one. Why not?
So Japan has their own Carnival now. What the hell does this have to do with Super Mario Brothers?
So Yume Koju was going to be a celebration of new media and technology. They had been promoting it for like a year leading up to it. So to promote Yume Koju, just like they do with the Olympics, they created mascots who would sort of represent this festival. And they were introduced...
All those memorable Olympics mascots.
All those classic Olympics mascots. And they were introduced like a year before the festival even started. There was Imogen, Lena, Papa, and Mama, and they were the characters that they wanted to promote. So the organizers of Yume Koju, Fuji comes to Nintendo and says, hey, we want to promote these characters. Will you put them in a game? Nintendo had this prototype that they've been working on and thought, oh, well, maybe this would be a great fit. So they created a game called Yume Koju Doki Doki Panic based on that prototype. Doki Doki is an onomatopoeia for like a beating heart. So heartbeat panic. Yeah. Heartbeat panic. It's crazy. It's just a loony. It's a loony panic.
Yeah, I mean, I guess heartbeat. I mean, it's Japan. Japan has some wacky names, so I guess that makes sense. And it is an exciting adventure through space and time. And you jump on whales.
Yeah, it is. That's another thing that happens in it. Now, it's not just the characters. There's actually another holdover from Yume Koju. There were these masks that were really sort of symbolic of the event. They're sort of Italian inspired, and they were for sale there. You get one as a little pin. There were performers there wearing them. It was in all the logos and what have you. And that's why there are so many masks in Doki Doki Panic, and by extension, Super Mario Brothers 2. Characters like Shy Guys and a lot. They're probably showing on the screen right now.
That makes sense, actually. There are a metric ton of masks in the game, and it never occurred to me that there'd be any reason for it other than they were probably doing a lot of peyote at the time.
That's the reason. You make Koju.
So this game that they made, Doki Doki Panic, was actually really convenient because it fit a lot of the requirements that Nintendo of America had for the follow-up to Super Mario Brothers. First of all, it was easier.
Yes.
It was horizontal.
Indeed.
It had characters that people recognized. Oh, wait, no, it didn't.
It didn't.
It had random-ass Yomi Kojo mascots. So why not just replace those mascots with familiar faces? Like Mario.
Boom.
Like Princess Peach. Like Luigi. And like Toad. Everyone's favorite.
Wet Sprocket.
So you just replace those main characters like Imogen and Lena and Papa and Mama with these familiar characters. Now, do you know which characters correspond to the familiar faces of the Mario family?
Imogen was the all-around lead character and just sort of the best sort of average one, and that's Mario. And that's actually become a hallmark of Mario as a character. If you're playing with Mario, like, he's okay all around. He's very average, and that was created because of Yume Koju. Mama became Luigi, Lena became Princess Peach, and Toad is Papa.
And they all had their abilities initially. So Mama was Luigi, so Mama had kind of a floating mechanic. Lena could float like a, magic carpet style, and that's what Princess Peach had as her ability. And Toad was just sort of awful. Actually, he could, I think, pick stuff up really fast.
He could pick stuff up faster.
Everyone hated playing as Toad.
Yeah, everybody hates Toad.
He's the worst. They also made a few changes to the difficulty. So in the original version, you actually had to beat each level with all 4 characters, whereas in the American version of Super Mario Bros. 2, you could pretty much pick any character you wanted.
Mario.
One thing they did add for the American version was the ability to run, which is kind of a hallmark of the Mario series. It's kind of shocking it wasn't even in Doki Doki Panic.
Yeah, but not very panic-inducing, guys. You can't even run in your game. Nice try.
I think the default was actually full sprint, so maybe that is more intense.
Whoa, so you can't slow down.
Another change they made was that they removed one of the most racist elements in the game. These horrible masks.
Yuckaroonie.
Please,
Not good.
no.
No, bad job.
And those became shells, so thankfully you never have to look at those again.
Yeah. Interestingly, Doki Doki Panic introduced elements that would become hallmarks of the Mario series. Picking up enemies and throwing them is one. The fact that Luigi is taller and thinner than Mario is just a result of this game. It also introduced a lot of characters like Birdo and Bob-ombs and Shy Guys for the very first time. Some of the characters from Super Mario Brothers 2 also made their way into the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, a live-action TV series that I only mention so we have an excuse to play this clip.
By the way, you have a little piece of spaghetti on your overalls.
You, Luigi, and you have a little bit of spaghetti sauce on your shirt.
Yes, that's what he said. Here it is one more time.
You, Luigi.
So given that they introduced all these new elements and all these new characters, I feel like the only way they could explain it was by making the whole thing a dream. Who doesn't love that?
Me. Like, you didn't need to explain it. I feel like they were trying to retcon why it's so different from Super Mario Brothers 1. But like, Super Mario Brothers 1 is a game where, apropos of nothing, you squish mushrooms and also eat them to get bigger. Like, you didn't need to explain this away. The fourth wall is not being destroyed by everything being different from the other game. It didn't need to be a dream. Oh, it makes me mad.
It was all a dream.
Okay, fine. It was all a dream. Russ, I really want to play the original Japanese Super Mario Brothers 2 because it's authentic and also because I can kick its ass.
I don't think you can handle it. You think you can handle it?
I can handle it.
Well, good news, Justin, because the Super Mario Bros. All-Stars release included the original Japanese version of Super Mario Bros. 2. They just called it the Lost Levels. As a matter of fact, for the poor Japanese people that only had Doki Doki Panic, they had the opportunity to play the American version of Super Mario Bros. 2, and they called it Super Mario Bros. USA.
So Super Mario Brothers USA, if I can track this exactly, is a Super Mario prototype converted into a licensed festival game, converted into an American Mario game, converted back to a Japanese Mario game. Is that correct?
Pretty much spot on.
Perfect. You know, Super Mario Brothers 2 was so different, it would have been a tough sell possibly if it weren't for one thing. Nintendo Power #1 coincided with the launch of the game. The first fifth of that first issue, around 20 pages or so, was dedicated to walkthroughs and screenshots and like even basic nitty-gritty explanation of mechanics. They got to really lay out what the game was there in Nintendo Power and sort of pave the way for the fact that it was such an odd, different game.
And despite all of those details, they got a few things wrong, didn't they?
On the cover, you mean?
Yeah, on the cover.
That cover, which was formed in clay, inspired by the California Raisins, actually. He is wearing a blue suit with red overalls.
Yeah, not quite right.
Wait, no, that is right.
No, Mario wears a red suit with blue overalls. Mario's
think
fucking
you're wrong.
red. Yeah, what? Justin.
No, Mario wears a red suit with blue overalls.
That's what I'm saying. You've been right.
No, he wears a blue suit with red overalls.
No, he fucking doesn't, Justin.
He does sometimes, right?
No, never.
What about on the weekends?
Maybe, yeah. If he's having a day at the beach, he might switch it up.
I Googled Mario blue suit to check, and if you ever want to know what Mario Lopez looks like in a blue suit, I have got you covered.
What else did they get wrong with this cover?
Well, this brings me back to my question, Russ, and I'm hoping now you can provide the answer I've waited for so long.
Right.
He's holding a carrot. There's no carrots.
Oh, right. I totally forgot. Okay. So the crazy reason that he's holding a carrot, it's actually one of the most interesting things about the history of Super Mario Brothers 2. He's holding a carrot because
Not again.